people have died in severe flash floods across southern and eastern Spain. Videos show cars being swept away, streets flooded, including in cities like Valencia, and various rescue units saving the stranded. Scientists say the climate crisis is making extreme weather events more frequent and more severe. Officials say the death toll is likely to rise, and according to Spain's meteorological agency, heavy rainfall is expected to continue through the week.
Judgment has come to Spain. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rekakwadash. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and double honors to the elders at Great Millstone. And shalom to those listening and learning, and to the women listening and learning in silence. I say shalom to you. Okay, judgment has come to Spain. All right, and why is judgment coming to Spain? Because in Spain is how a lot of Negroes that came from the west coast of Africa ended up in America. And it's how the persecution, all the hatred, so-called white supremacy came to be. It's due to the Spanish Inquisition and the auto de fe. All right, so let's get into it a little bit about what they did to the Jews. All right, the Negro Jews and the so-called Moors. And Moors means Negroes too. And they were a lot of them were the royalty in Spain. Okay, all right. So the auto de fe, all right, it means it's from Portuguese auto de fe, or Spanish auto de fe, meaning act of faith, was a ritual of public penance carried out between the 15th and 19th centuries of condemned heretics and apostates, imposed by the Spanish, Portuguese, or Mexican Inquisition. All of these were so-called white people, okay, as punished and enforced by civil authorities. Its most extreme form was death by burning. So this is one of the reasons, this is the reason why judgment has come to Spain, all right? Okay, and this right here is reenacted judgment of the ones who went against the so-called church, okay, Catholic Church. They're showing some so-called white men, but it happened to the Negroes over there as well. They were persecuting everybody that went against their doctrine, their understanding. All right. So let's read on. Right. From the 8th to 15th centuries, much of Spain was controlled by Muslims. You see that? So you're talking about a lot of Negroes were ruling over in Spain. Around the 11th century, growing suspicions of Jews prompted Christians to unite against the Muslims and Jews. Okay, against the Muslims and Jews. That's primarily against the Negroes, okay, that were over there in Europe. From that point, Spain became a political melange of different powers and territories, each with its own policies regarding the status of Jews and Muslims. By the 13th century, almost all of the modern Spain was under Christian rule, okay? And that's what the problem was. That's how that's how all of the conquering of the Americas happened. Okay, it was through the Catholic Church, okay, and their edicts. Ferdinand III of Castile boasted of being the king of three religions. This tolerance, however, did not last long. Okay, in the 14th century, Dominican and Franciscan priests called on Christians to expel the Jews from Spain, Slovakia. In the 14th century, read that again, Dominican and Franciscan priests called on Christians to expel the Jews from Spain, blaming Jews for social problems and stirring the Christian majority to destroy synagogues, burn Jews alive, and impose forced conversion. Jews would be forced to attend sermons and have Christian preachers outline what the Christians viewed as the error of their ways. New laws segregated the Jewish or so-called tribe of Judah population and limited the occupations that were still open to them. With the ultimate goal of conversion, more than 100,000 Jews converted. See, so they converted, okay, because it was at the force of the sword, okay? All right? They converted. That's the reason why a lot of the so-called Jews, it was forced conversion. And what they did was, to make a long story short, was they came out with an edict. It was called Dom de Various. And let me get that. Okay, Dom de Versus is a papal bull issued on the 18th of June, 1452 by Pope Nicholas V. It authorized King Alfonso V of Portugal to fight, subjugate, all right, and conquer those rising against the Catholic faith and struggling to extinguish Christian religion, namely the Saracens, which are the Muslims, which those were the Negroes and pagans, in a military disputed African territory. The document consigned warring enemies that lost to perpetual servitude. Okay, so let's read on. Issued by Nicholas V in 1455, gave the Portuguese, which is so-called white people, you're looking at one here, okay? So-called white people. The Spaniards were so-called white people too. All of them Edomites. All right. Okay. Let's say the document consigned warring enemies that lost to perpetual servitude. This and the subsequent bull Romanus Pontifex, issued by Nicholas V in 1455, gave the Portuguese what they saw as moral justification to freely. This is what happened to you Negroes. Okay. And the so-called Muslims, all the Negroes, you are under the curses of the Most High. You're under the covenant, whether you converted to Islam or not. Okay, your forefathers were under the covenant of the Heavenly Father. Okay, and therefore the curse is passed down unto you and your children. And that's the reason why these devils, these so-called white people, were allowed to destroy you and get you out of Spain. They came to the Americas. And they came with the same Spanish Inquisition, Mexican Inquisition and they started conquering the so-called natives of the land all the way down to Argentina, all the way down. They took over everything, all right? And this is what happened. The Roman Pontifex and the Dom de Various, issued by Nicholas in 1455, gave the Portuguese what they saw as moral justification to freely acquire slaves along the African coast by force or trade. And that's how a lot of Negroes were taken from West Africa. The edicts are thus seen as having facilitated the Portuguese slave trade from West Africa and as having legitimized the European colonization of the African continent. All right. And not only did they do that, they pretty much enslaved the whole, at the force of the sword, you had to bow down to Christianity. Okay. All right. Catholicism and Christianity. All right. So with this being said, this is the reason why Spain is being judged right now. Okay. A lot of people were put to death, okay, under these decrees, under these papal bulls, under the Spanish Inquisition and auto de fe. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rikakwadash. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and double honors to the elders at Great Millstone. Shalom.